Right, so after a bit of working around, I've managed to get this serial, what do you call it, DOSBox, for running my AMC program because Windows 10 wouldn't run it. I had a load of help from Wolftronics to get to this point, but his instructional video wasn't quite exactly the same as this, because I don't know if it's a different version, we'll see. But what I want to be doing now is to read. So if I go to 3, is that the one? And then 5. Aha. So I should be able to see everything that's going on in here. So that's the max motor current. Motor current, recouper, battery discharging. Surprised they have such tiny wires when 250 amp is the thing. Anyway, low battery voltage limit. Oh, I was just above it. That's why it wasn't going off. So what I've just been working out is the voltages to put this at. So the low battery voltage limit, the lowest I can go on the actual inverter is 92. So that's about 27% on my current batteries, which means I will be losing a bit of range. But saying that, when you get down to the lower percentage, you've used up most of the power anyway, so we might not lose too much in terms of capacity. We'll see. But no, I'll be running down to 27% before it cuts off. And so what I will probably do is leave that one at around 100. Or maybe do that one at 90. Hang on, let's just redo this. 95, there we go. Now the high battery voltage I set for 132, which is around 95%, I think. And then the high battery voltage limit I set to 134, which is about 4.2 volts per cell, which is perfect. So that's that. That's all set. I'm not sure how it runs that high, 287 amps, unless it's just a short burst, which is why the thin wires can cope with it. But I'll have to keep a close eye on that. But no, that's all I was changing. So all I need to do now is to go to page up and then write. So there we go. That's all set. I'm not sure how it runs that high, 287 amps, unless it's just a short burst, which is why the thin wires can cope with it. But I'll have to keep a close eye on that. But no, that's all I was changing. So all I need to do now is to go to page up and then write. So there we go. Now, let's have a look. Has that saved it? That seems to have saved it there. So all I need to do is to go out of this program. So F10. Oh, maybe I made a mistake. No. Right, I think I already saved the version. Okay, I'm just going to turn the car off, turn it back on, and then have a look and see if everything's saved. Right, so I've spent today trying to get all the wiring all tidied up behind here and things wired in properly, so we now have everything put in. That's the 12 volt feed going off to the DC to DC in here somewhere. So that's the 48 volt going into a 48 volt battery down here. But yes, so essentially that's the DC to DC converter. That is hooked up to 120 volts, and that's giving me 12 volt output into the dash. So with this whole combination essentially done, we should be ready to get the batteries into the back of the car. I just want to check a couple of other things first before I start putting the weight into the back. But yeah, essentially we're almost there. We're almost there. So if we go around the front here, what I've actually done is the 120 volt feed to the inverter is just in there, and that's hooked up to this plug here. This is all plugged in here. This is the positive coming off onto that, and then the negative feeds up into the series on this battery here. That positive is going into the negative of the bank down here, so this will mimic the whole string that's going to go across the top in the future. And that's everything else connected up down here. So DC to DC, 48 volt there. And now when I turn the ignition, everything is switched on, and I don't need an external 12 volt battery to do it. So if I go into forward drive again, it's all functioning. Perfect. And then all the 12 volt dash works and etc. I can even put on the heater if I wanted to, but I'm not going to bother with that for now. Right, so progress. I've got the batteries in the back here, and as you can see, they're all wired in. I've got the 250 amp fuse that came out the G-Wiz in here, and that connects up to this part at the end. And then we come around the side, and this is the other side. So what I've actually done in regards to the batteries is that this here, this is the series connection that goes up into these batteries here, and you can see where it goes onto the positive. Now that wires up the batteries into 120 volts, and I can use the motor that way. When I disconnect this, there's a positive already wired into there, and if I connect this one up, that rewires the pack into parallel, and those are 40 amp wires for using the charger. So I'll keep the original G-Wiz charger for now, keep it out of the car, but when I need to charge up, plug this into here, and that will wire the batteries up into parallel, and I'll be charging up to 66.4 volts or 66.5 volts, and it's just a quick system. Now it shouldn't matter too much on this side because however, what I will be doing is unplugging this over here. Now when I unplug it there, it turns off the inverter, so that's not getting a low voltage, so DC to DC converter, and it disconnects it from the inverter as well. So I unplugged that, and I plugged this end into a couple of tails that run off to the that I'll screw into the charger. So I just literally plug the charger into this end, disconnect this end as well, and we've got 48 volts. So that's the plan. and that will enable me to charge up the batteries using the existing charger until I get a 120 volt system set up. Plus it's actually a little bit better because these will all be charged in parallel, which will keep them balanced, keep the two strings balanced until I get some sort of BMS system put in. So that will keep the cells balanced, and yeah, so that's it. All I've got to do now is put the seat in, tidy all of this up, and wheels are on, and it's just seeing how it drives finally. Just got to make sure the front wheels aren't locked up, but aside with the brakes sitting over winter, but aside from that, there we go, we are in business. And what I've also done in regards to the voltmeter, that one is hooked up to this side, to this string. So as I don't have a 120 volt meter in place, this will monitor one of the strings. Ideally I want to be able to monitor both, but that's not a huge issue for the time being. That will monitor one string, and that will give me a rough idea of how much life I have left in the batteries. And seeing as this inverter is set to 92 volt cutoff, that's the lowest it would go. That's 27% discharge on these modules. So there's absolutely no way, unless these are really severely imbalanced, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to be running these down below what they're below their minimum charge. So I've got the car out, and excuse the dog's barking, he keeps going for the cat up in the treehouse. But no, we finally got the car out of the where it has been all winter. It pulled straight out, and we're about to take it for its first run. Now it's in forward. Regen is on. That's set to max power, but we'll see how that works. Right, so brake is off. Let's have a look. Well, the regen's not too heavy, to be honest. That's okay. It runs okay. I think all I've got to do now is to really just kind of get the bumper right. Here it goes. The first test on the road. I've got the bumper on, so we're good to go after I set my windows up. Okay, let's see how well it performs on the road. Now it's just that accelerator that I'm a bit concerned about. I don't know if it's got enough of a however you call it, the resistor on the. But actually, let's see. Okay, it's actually quite nice. It will go a lot faster, but I'm on 40 miles an hour at the minute, no problem. And then I just have to do this. Yeah, and I got regen. There we go. Right, that's actually quite good. We may have to take it onto the dual carriageway. Wow. Okay. I barely had my foot to the floor and I was already doing 40 miles an hour. How about that in a G-Wiz? Right, I guess what I will do is we'll take it to a flat road just further out and we'll see how it performs. Right, so let's head over to this main road. It's actually quite nice. Now how about this for a G-Wiz with a 12 kilowatt motor? Yeah, the regen kicks in quite well. Damn, 50 miles an hour in a G-Wiz, no problem. I'm almost scared to drive it fast because every time I've had a motor on this car and I push it, it blows. But this one has been kind of made. This one only has standard settings, so we should be quite safe. So let's see how it performs coming out of here. Definitely faster though. Right, are we ready to put the foot down? Well, I'm off the speedo. And I don't think I want to take it any faster than what that was. I think over 60 it starts to get a bit unstable. But I'll rarely drive over 50 in a G-Wiz anyway. But this will mean that I should be able to maintain speeds up hills without slowing down to 30. But I think over 55, 60 in this car, it may feel a little bit unstable. Unless you're on the motorway, I guess. Just handling on country roads isn't the best thing to do. But I'm accelerating up a hill in a G-Wiz. How about that? It will accelerate up a hill. So let's see how we cope on this hill. We're accelerating. It handles hills no problem. So here where I would have been stuck at 30 miles an hour up a hill, it's still accelerating. It's great, it's really great. So all I've got to do is tidy up a few bits in this car now. Tidy it all up, as long as everything else is functioning. It works. So after that little drive, the fans are on. Is it blowing it out the top? Yeah. Or is it blowing out this way? I'm not sure. I was hoping that it would come out this way. inverter is getting warm though. It's not too bad. Ah yeah, so it does blow it out the top. I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem in terms of ventilation. Should be fine. But there we go. That was our first test drive of the car, and it's actually really good. I'm impressed. I've just got to do a little bit of work on tidying things up and getting the charger all set up. I mean, handling wise, it's not terrible. I think it's a little bit scary when you get over 55. When you get over 55 it gets a bit wobbly. I was completely off the speedo on that drive and it would have gone even further, so I'm interested to see how it performs on the dual carriageway. Now with a bit more weight on it, it might be stable. So say for example I had the tow bar fitted and I'm towing the trailer, it may be a bit more stable that way. But what I love about this is that it has extra oomph, so that if I do set this up as a towing car for my sleeping pod trailer in the future, I will be able to tow it at better speeds on the dual carriageway and the motorway. I'll be able to sit at maybe 50, no problem, which will be quite remarkable. I'll be quite happy at 50 constant speed rather than having to struggle to get to there. There we have it, folks. This is the end of this video. This is the progress. We've got the G-Wiz back on the road with the Selectria Force inverter and motor, and to be quite honest, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Alright, so hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll keep you updated on any future progress. So just up the road from the house, I've kind of had a bit of a problem. So now something's going wrong here. Whenever I put it into forward, I'm getting nothing on the accelerator, and then I hear a judder sometimes. I don't know what's going on. It's just not moving. Weird. So that was a little bit short-lived. I had one more spin in the car, and for some reason the accelerator stopped working. Now regen's still working, the car's rolling. Luckily I was at the top of the hill so I could just roll back down to go home. But I don't know what happened there. It's like the potentiometer in the accelerator is not reading properly to the inverter. There was a bit of a judder when you can hear it try to kick in, but yeah, there's something going on in there. So now I have to take all these batteries out again so that I can get in there and figure out what's going on. So the potentiometer seems to have a problem. So I don't know what I'm going to do for that. We'll see, but I'm not entirely sure how to fix that if it is to do with the pedal in there. I'm hoping that it's just a problem with the wiring in the wiring that I did not properly engaging. So we'll see. I'm surprised it isn't working though. It was working fine for a while, and now it's just suddenly having these problems. So yeah, the car works, but just when I think that everything is done, I have another problem. So I hope this project will be able to be completed without any more issues after I sort this, because I kind of just want to get it on the road and start enjoying it. Another quick update. I have no idea what caused this, but I just turned the car on and now it's working again. Now I just have a theory that I'm just going to test. If I leave it in reverse, is it that's causing it to... Nope, that's still working. So it must be a problem with the inverter. I don't know if it was overheating or anything like that, but suddenly it's working again. So what is causing What is causing that inverter to drop out? That's the thing that I'm not sure about. Like, I thought it might have been that reverse switch causing some circuit or whatever, but I think that's to do with the controller that's not longer in the car. So I am absolutely confused, because now when I turn the car on, I have the accelerator. It's all back again. So what on earth is going on with the inverter? And why is it doing that? I mean, it's all standard settings, so it can't be overheating after a few miles of driving. That's just what I'm struggling to understand. So, yeah, we've got a bit of a conundrum here. I might try and drive it around again tomorrow and see if it stops again. But I don't know, because that's going to be a bit of a problem if I'm on the road and suddenly it does this. Now, it might have possibly been that it was overheating, so I may have to pull everything off anyway and restructure this. Maybe move the inverter forwards so that the air gets blown into the cabin rather than under there. But no, that should be fine because it's pulling air from the cabin in through the fins. So there is something that I'm not certain about now. Maybe we can figure it out another day. The car runs, it's running again. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about these Solectria inverters and why it, after about a 5-mile drive, it stops allowing me to accelerate or go into reverse, yeah, please let me know. I might contact Wolftronics as well and see if he has any idea also. So that's it for today. This is definitely the final clip, and we'll just have to do some research and see what we can do, see what we can figure out is wrong with this. It was wrong with the inverter, but hopefully that means I don't have to pull all of these batteries out unless I have to program it. But I may be able to get a right angle serial port which will allow me to connect everything underneath there and bring a USB out for programming purposes. Yeah, we'll just have to figure it out.